I had it. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had it. There was this one day where I'm pretty sure I had it. I didn't check my temperature, sure, should have done, but I'm sure I had a fever. So I've had these chest pains for about a week. It started on a Friday. I remember the exact date so well because on that day they had announced the first case. That guy had come from Italy and he had gone to the hospital and they had tested him. And of course it was COVID. So then he went into isolation at home. So I guess his symptoms were only mild. But that, like, on that exact same day, I started having symptoms. I had this pressure on my chest and difficulty breathing. And I've been reading about the situation in Italy and how the ICUs there were overrun. And you would see these pictures and videos of people just gasping for air. And then I felt it. That pressure on my breathing. Like I had to consciously think about taking a breath to keep breathing. I was so scared that if I would stop thinking about breathing, that my lungs would just stop functioning. I'm a pretty level-headed person, generally. I don't panic easily. But I did start panicking a little after that. Like, I was all tense in my shoulders and everything, so I tried to calm myself down, really feel what I was feeling. And there it was, that pain in my sternum. And as I focused on it, I noticed it going all the way to the back. And I mean, this is your lungs, right? And especially if it goes all the way back to your hair, that's the lungs, right? And I was always told that your ribcage is supposed to protect the lungs. So if that part hurts, it's the lungs. Well, I guess it's also the heart and the liver and the kidneys. But COVID doesn't attack the heart, or the liver, or the kidneys, for that matter. And I did have that pain in my lungs, and I did have difficulty breathing, and I did have that fever 3 weeks ago, which I didn't check, but I'm sure I had. You know this rosy feeling, right? Your face is really hot and the rest of your body really cold. I even napped during the day for like 2 whole hours during the day. I mean, if that's a bad sign if I ever saw one. Well, no, I didn't go to the doctor. What if I have to go to the hospital? Well, I'm not going. Are you crazy? Who knows how many infections they have? Well, there's simply no way that all these doctors and nurses can just flit from one department to the other without not at least carrying a little bit of virus with them. Well, I guess if I was infected, I wouldn't have to worry about becoming infected, so I guess it wouldn't matter. Still, my symptoms aren't that bad. I don't need medical help. And of course, I wouldn't want to contaminate anyone else. They say even cats can get it now. And it might be a bit odd to say, but I do give my cat kisses. There's no 6 feet distance there. come to think of it, he has been sneezing a lot more than usual. He has this fit where he tries to cough up something, like what if I gave it to my cat? Fuck, what if my cat gave it to me? Well, you can't get your cat tested now, any more than they'll test you. They don't have enough tests anyway. And I know that I'm having it. I'm pretty sure I had it, so no need to get tested. And there's still that pain in my lungs, so I guess I'm still contagious. My friends haven't really offered to go grocery shopping for me or anything. But they let me know on social media that they care. Which is nice, I guess. It helps. I mean, I just order online now. It's pretty horrible these days to order groceries online. People just hoard and hoard anything they can find. I have my designated vitamin cupboard, and even I couldn't fill my 4 shelves. Self-centered much? Thank goodness I'm not the kind of person. I just follow the government's advice, I stay at home, and I don't bother my doctor with every little medical scare. But what if I had it? And what if it comes back? How do you know if you've had it? And how long does it take for it to come back? Do I just stay here? Inside? Alone? Forever? Sorry, I have a Kleenex. That's not good.
I am glad you finally decided to contact me, Chaplain.
Why is there blood?
Very unfortunate we'd find that in your lung at this time. With all the other wards closed because of COVID, there isn't much we can do, I'm afraid.
But why is there blood? It wasn't any of the symptom checks.
I'll put you on the waiting list, but with the current troubles, I'm afraid it's quite a long wait to schedule any treatments.
But what if it's what if it's not COVID?
I'm so sorry, Chaplain.
I shouldn't have been so sure I had it, I guess.
we begin where most of us end. These monuments to the dead, these grave reminders of what has passed and what will come, and these silenced voices deep down beneath the earth that beckon us to relive our memories. Despite its name, a graveyard is a funny place. We bury our dead like we bury our pets. Our boxes might be a little bigger, but the basics are the same. A view might be a little grander, but the basics stay the same. Our holes might be a little deeper, perhaps, but the basics stay the same. Although our vegetable potted plant to garden ratio is a little different, because in the case of humans, the graves are simply adored by other graves. Down there we go, to lie in a box, dead. Some die of causes, some die because there were no causes, some die because the causes were there but no one could or would stop them from this state of perpetual sleep. Imagine lying down there, dead. The great generation. A monument to commemorate the life you lived, or perhaps just to commemorate the way you died. A handful of hours of service and a well-aimed enemy shot, and that's it. Dead. The silent generation. A simple stone out of shame. You jumped into the crowds below out of a 20-story building because the stockbroking days broke you. After all, you were meant to be seen and not heard. This generation lived the longest, came with plenty. Your friends died in wars halfway across the world, or in a massacre just around the corner. Their stars led them to camps, and their camps led them to be here. All of those wars you carried in your heart, and you survived. You birthed, you boomed. You were our grandfathers and our grandmothers, until you weren't. Generation unknown, generation undefined, generation technology, generation divorce. You died of drug overdose, of cancer, of terrorist acts in big cities. You lived and you died of plenty. And then you were forgotten. And the second silent generation that refused to stay silent. You felt all. You saved all. You judged all. You saw all. You lived all. And yet you die. You die when you should be living. No need, no cause, no future. And yet, here is the future. Generation Alpha. You haven't lived yet, so how can you die? And yet you do. In your mother's womb or barely out of it. A car hits you on your way to school. Your mother had AIDS and so do you. Your city was bombed to ashes alongside your own frail little body. Your parents could only afford a rubber boat. But what will we remember this moment by? How will we remember this moment of 1,000 different lives, 1,000 different generations who all across the world die at exactly the same time, this time, now. One death, 100 deaths, 1,000 deaths, and then we just forget how to count. One generation, 2 generations, 3 generations, all generations. In this generation, you can die because the person sitting next to you decided to sit there and breathe the same air. Yes, yeah, have a good look. Left is a perfectly good direction. Smile at your neighbor, cherish their face. You may have killed that person in 2 weeks' time. It all depends on perspective, I suppose. Do you know who you might have killed? Do you know who might have killed your loved ones? Did they know that they were contaminating air and they compromised objects with their carelessness? Did they know that they were destroying lungs and hearts and brains and families? Do you know? The terrible world outside was flat screened onto your palms as you watched. The air you breathed carried them off to different places. Your thoughts and prayers went out to all, but they healed none. And the things you touched brought them to be here. Look at your hands. Look at your hands and wonder at the many of their desperate breaths you did not count on your decimating, unwashed fingers. Death does not care for you if you continue living. You can only walk with her if you have let go. So who's next? Who has let go? Care. Not only in the now, but also after the now. Remember your fingers. Don't use them to count. Don't use them to clap. Use them to care. The world has not changed. But let's hope that we have.
When I was a child, I painted the sky with my eyes closed. I painted balloons in all kinds of shapes, gave them hearts. My imagination imagination runs with me since then, it never stops. My imagination runs with me since then, it never stops.